In today's video, I'm reviewing a 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Now, the Jeep Grand Cherokee has been a really popular offering from the Jeep brand since it was first introduced in 1993. It's currently on its fourth generation, starting with the 2011 model year, and Jeep did a minor refresh in 2014, giving the Grand Cherokee a facelift and upgraded powertrain. Now, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, despite the fact that it's an American vehicle and in some ways carries kind of the same reputation of a lot of other American vehicles for being good cars, solid, durable, reliable, but not necessarily really high quality in terms of materials, not having the same styling that you get from some of the really high-end German brands. The Grand Cherokee really kind of departs from that stereotype in the sense that it offers a really upscale, contemporary look and a really refined powertrain. Now, the Grand Cherokee was developed while Chrysler and Mercedes were under the same ownership, and so it carries some of the same chassis and underpinnings that you get on the Mercedes ML, and so part of that is the fact that it does have a little bit of that German DNA, but it's a very American vehicle at the same time, and one of my favorite SUVs that you can purchase. The fourth generation of the Grand Cherokee really takes the Jeep lineup to a whole new level in terms of offering a really upscale appearance that keeps up with the nicest SUVs on the market. Considering some of the SUVs out there, the Audi Q7, the BMW X5, the Porsche Cayenne, in my opinion, I think that the Grand Cherokee is every bit as stylish as those vehicles. And the minor facelift that Jeep did in 2014 really kind of complemented the overall design that they had already come up with in 2011 and gave it just a little bit more upscale appearance. Some of the changes that came in 2014 is that it got revised taillights, and then up front, new front grille and headlights. They're just a little bit higher end. Overall, really great looking vehicle. It's got a really rugged appearance, but at the same time, it's also very luxurious. Has a nice combination of the two aspects. One of the things I really like about the Grand Cherokee as well is that it kind of transcends generations in the sense that people of all ages really like the Grand Cherokee. When I was in high school, I considered buying a Grand Cherokee as my first car. And they're still popular among, high school age students, college age, people that have young families, and even the elderly. They're just a really great car in the sense that they appeal to a number of those different audiences. And I think the reason for that is that it's a very capable vehicle off-road, and so that's going to appeal to your younger crowds that might be interested in taking it truly off-roading and doing some more serious driving. It's a great family car in the sense that it offers a really good package of performance, fuel economy, pricing, and comfort. And then again, for the older drivers out there, for all those same reasons, it's just a really nice overall car in terms of giving you a really high-end appearance, versatile, good in snow and ice, plenty of cargo capacity, and very comfortable. Jumping into the inside of the vehicle, the stylish appearance on the exterior does carry over to the interior, although while I think the Grand Cherokee keeps up with its German rivals on the exterior, on the interior, despite the fact that it is really nice and has a nice high-end appearance, it's not quite at the same level as those German vehicles. And you wouldn't really expect it to be given the price point of this vehicle. You can buy a brand new Grand Cherokee starting at about $32,000. That's a base model, of course. They can get a lot pricier as you get up there with powertrains and options, but despite that, it's still a very reasonably priced vehicle in that sense. The Grand Cherokee has a unique shifter here, one of the first of this type of shifters where you just kind of tilt this guy to shift between gears. Got all the controls here in the middle. The vehicle, it's a little bit complicated in some sense when it comes to some of the electronics. I'll give you an example here in just a moment as the screen turns up. So, first of all, when it comes to like the heated seats, for example, there's no button on the door or dashboard to go to heated seats. And so in order to get to the heated seats, you have to come to this screen under climate control. So let's say that you're on radio. Okay, you'd have to go to climate, and then you got to push on the heated seat button here. And then if you wanted to turn on, say, the driver heated seat, you'd push that button there. So it's a little bit complicated in the sense that it takes multiple steps to get to that. Something I'm not crazy about, that it's a little complicated in that sense. I'd prefer to just have a little button for that. But, you know, again, it does minimize the number of buttons that are necessary in the vehicle and helps give it a nice, clean overall appearance, having fewer buttons. The vehicle does have push button start. And again, this is a higher end model of the vehicle with that larger screen, leather seats, heated seats. But with the key in my pocket, I'm able to start it with the push of a button. Of course, it's got all power seats as well. Jumping into the rear of the vehicle, very spacious back seat. Got climate control in the back as well. And it's actually got heated seats, you can see, for the second row passengers. So despite the fact that this is a Jeep, it does come with a really high level of luxury. You can see plenty of headroom, plenty of legroom. So we'll go ahead and jump into the rear of the vehicle. It does come equipped with a power lift gate, so by pulling the handle here, the lift gate will open automatically. You can see, looking in the back, it comes with a lot of cargo space. So it definitely works as a good vehicle if you've got a family of 4. Plenty of space for the back row passengers and plenty of room for cargo on road trips. Now, one thing that I wish were different about the Grand Cherokee is that it isn't offered with a third row seat. So you can only get it as a 5-passenger vehicle. If you want to go with a third row seat, the Grand Cherokee is very similar to the Dodge Durango. Mechanically speaking, they're built on the same chassis, they have the same powertrains. The Durango is offered with that third row seat. The issue for me is that I love the styling on the Grand Cherokee, and while I think the Durango looks nice, the Grand Cherokee is just at a whole nother level, and so I wouldn't necessarily consider buying the Durango for myself. But in a vehicle of this size, it'd be nice to have that third row seat. So I do think that is one downside of the Grand Cherokee. Granted, if it had that third row seat, it'd be a longer vehicle like the Durango is, which would probably take away a little bit from the styling. Although, you know, they could do kind of like the Tahoe Suburban thing where they had a shorter version and a longer version, and I could see that being successful. The issue with the shorter version is that if you put a third row seat in the back here, it probably wouldn't be incredibly useful in terms of size. Not a lot of legroom space if you put a third row seat in there, and not a lot of space for cargo. 2014 and newer versions of the Grand Cherokee can be had with either 4-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. The 4-wheel drive versions have a quadra-track system, which is essentially an all-wheel drive system with the option to shift into a low-range 4-wheel drive with the push of a button. The 14 and newer Grand Cherokees also have 8-speed automatic transmissions among all 4 powertrain options. Now, the first powertrain option is a 3.6-liter V6, which is what this vehicle has. It's rated at 17 miles per gallon in the city and 24 miles per gallon on the highway. They've also got a 5.7-liter Hemi V8, which has an EPA rating of 14 in the city and 20 on the highway, and a 3-liter 6-cylinder diesel rated at 21 in the city and 28 on the highway. Now, all 3 of those versions are going to have slightly better miles per gallon in rear-wheel drive configuration. You'd be looking at a difference of about 1 to 2 miles per gallon on each of those. Now, if none of those appeal to you, they also have an SRT8 version of the Grand Cherokee, which is a performance variant of the Grand Cherokee, has stiffer suspension, sits a little lower, is only available in rear-wheel drive, and has a 6.4-liter V8. offering a lot of horsepower. With that model, you're going to see an EPA rating of 13 in the city and 19 on the highway. The Mercedes DNA in the Grand Cherokee is very apparent the moment that you start driving it, in the sense that it offers a really nice balance of comfort and sport. The vehicle is very capable of absorbing a lot of the imperfections in a bumpy road, and yet at the same time, driving around a corner, the vehicle feels very stable and planted. And unlike many of the American and Japanese SUVs that the Grand Cherokee competes with, that feel a little bit sloppy in terms of power delivery, slightly loose and vague steering, the Grand Cherokee has a much more German-like feel to it in terms of offering a really precise steering and a nice stable planted chassis. The Grand Cherokee also offers a really high level of available features. This specific model has a heated steering wheel, it's got heated seats, a digital instrument cluster, backup camera, really anything that you can get in the highest end German SUV, this vehicle is available with those options. And so you're able to get an American SUV at a very reasonable price, and yet with the same level of features that you get in a really high-end expensive SUV. That's a review of the 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee. If you have any comments or questions, leave those in the section below. For more car reviews, subscribe to my channel. In the meantime, thanks for watching.